want that. Special delivery. I need that. Special delivery. Welcome to the Special Delivery Podcast. I'm your host, Special, and welcome to the series for Grand Nationxl's album Twice on Sunday Season 1. Each episode is a standalone episode breaking down a different track on the album. So that means you can listen to all of them in order. You can listen to just one, whatever you want to do. They all kind of stand alone. On this episode, we break down the third song on the album called Positive. This one is produced by Soundtrack and features verses from Bledsoe, Moe Green, Kevin Allen, and Ian Kelly. So let's get into it.
This is Bledsoe with Special Delivery and Spesh. This is Grand Nationxl.
Philosophies of apologies, honestly be selfish. Hive mind the colony, I gotta be me. It's truly all subjective, looking from all perspectives. I'm growing more, so there's more that I can see. Vanish the advantage, still gunning for a vanquish. Holy, holy to the God for second, third chances. Significance on the wake up, it's a blessing to breathe. Catch myself stressing, gotta keep advancing. Man, I hate to think what I kept under that mattress. Love to know that I was picked up out of that madness. Cheers to my guys, whiskey, they glasses. Divinity and energy, the presence, how we planned it.
I feel like Positive, you really just looked inside and talked about the growth within yourself and how you've grown. What was it like writing that one?
That was the first song. That was the very first song that I recorded, like I said, after Kev invited me to the studio. And that same night that I was supposed to be listening to music, I ended up recording that verse. It's really just the first line that really resonates with me the most in that. And it's like people are waiting for apologies from people to move on and forgive and forget shit, when really that's a selfish mind state. Like, what do you need somebody to acknowledge their wrongdoing to you for if you are a forgiving person? Just move on. And that was me speaking to my relationship with music, though. I was kind of in a state of, I need music to apologize to me for this, that, and the third. But it wasn't really that. It was me being selfish and not looking at my heart in, the bad shit that I did attached to my rap music career. I let myself get out of control and do some things that were out of my character. And so, again, me holding a grudge against making music was bullshit. It was just me avoiding looking at myself and placing the blame where it needed to be.
Wow, there's so much power in that, because that's actually what I was going to ask, because I have the line written down. It's philosophies of apologies, honestly, to be selfish.
Yeah.
Man, I think that within itself is such a good line and such a good thought process, but the way that you explained how you felt about music and making music, and that this was your first track back, there's so much power in that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Again, it was one of those things that happen, you write words, but then you don't really realize where that came from until you examine it. We all got all types of inner workings going on in our brain that we're not cognizant of, but once you do sit back and think about it, you're like, oh, damn, I thought or said that because I really feel or am thinking this in the background subconsciously. So, again, it was one of those things that just dawned on me after I said it. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. There you go.
One of those moments. Goodness gracious. Wow.
What's up? It's Moe Green. Shout out to Special Delivery Podcast. Shout out to Grand Nationxl. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm representing today. And forever and always.
This shit is tight, OJ's glove to me, uplift you like you short and trying to give a hug to me. Shit is squash, it's not whatever it was to me. On some next shit, blessed shit with company. Used to be alone, me and my phone, raps any songs. Looking for a soul to hang on. Yeah. RNS, cause I speak all facts. You hate me, but I hate y'all back. And I love it though. Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, LaVitty, I sing different. Had to figure out to make change where pain living. Got a saw shake and break out, I was caged in it. Keep a saw shake for motherfuckers who play different. Fly sky level wings on them, the plane missing. To the neck, choke chains of hands on freaky women. Poisonous like Ricky Bell or Mike Bivens. Cause who really wanna be devout? Green.
You did kind of touch on, working by yourself and stuff like that. And I think that really shined on your verse on Positive, because Positive, you really talked about your growth with others and how you felt about working with other people and making music for other people and stuff like that. Can you talk about what it was like writing that verse?
Chris a trip, because we were kind of talking about that. Like, I was just, by myself, you know what I'm saying, looking for a soul to hang on. Like, I'm like, hopefully y'all hear this shit. My first tape ever I did, I put out, I did like 3 mixtapes before I put this shit out. My first ever tape I put out was called I Just Want You to Hear My Voice. So that was my whole thing. I just want somebody to hear my shit. Like, that's the only reason I even started doing music. I just want somebody to hear what I had to say. So, like, right in that verse, I could kind of tap into certain parts. Like, when Kanye was on that, back when Kanye was cool, and he was like himself in a room doing 5 beats a day for 3 summers. Like, it was kind of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, touching on that part, So yeah, that was a dope session. That's like one of the first ones. That's one of the first ones we did. I mean, it might have been the second or third session. We just did that, and that shit was dope.
Then on that one, I might get this wrong. You said had to figure out how to make change where pain living.
Yeah, because all right, so that's like a lot to that because and a lot of my content is kind of like introspective. A lot of my stuff. That's like my thing. My partner was like, that might just be your thing, bro. You might just be the introspective dude. Like, yeah, but people don't always want to hear that shit all the time. And I don't want to hear that shit all the time. So it's like, I had to figure out to make change with pain living. And at the same time, it also was like, it's going to sound kind of like crazy dealing with a group. But at the same time, we're individuals. So it's like, nobody's going to save you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to save yourself type of situation. So if it's pain there, figure that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, nobody care more than you do. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure this shit out yourself. But that's life though. You got to go through certain shit to figure out how to get through certain shit. So shit, I'm still figuring that shit out, but I had to touch on that.
It's all a process. It's not something that comes easily out.
Yeah.
Yes, Kevin Allen, 1/15 of the collective Grand Nationxl.
Insecure ain't the place for you, yeah. Part the seas, make a way for you, yeah. Look at how you made it through. I see you in my reflection, look what you made me do. I got a soft spot for you, it's a long shot. You came out the pressure like a diamond in the Lord's watch. Woke like alarm clocks. Beautiful soul, I'm usually cold, I ought not be so open, exposed. Cause what happens when I do and you don't show up? What happens if I stop making excuses and really grow up? I really see you, yeah. Saying I need you is an understatement. How many people are really perfect? I promise it's zero. Balance in the perception that equal is all ego. Ain't no such thing, and I love you just the same. Who am I to blame? You took my last name. Who am I to blame? Riding in the fast lane.
It's really a song about growth and different types of growth. And your approach was growth for your significant other. Can you kind of break down your approach to that one?
The concept was what's positive to you in your life right now, and whatever that means to you, just right from that space. So for me, what does love really look like when you strip down all the fake shit? So then it starts talking about empathy. Then it talks about how to get there. I gotta drop some of my shit. I gotta see you as a flawed human being and still be okay. You gotta see me as that. It's both. It's for a significant other, but it's also like a metaphor for perfection on how I would like to show up and how I want somebody to show up for me. You know what I mean? Like Whitney Houston, what's the big Kevin Costner?
I Will Always Love You?
That Dolly Parton did, right? I was watching the documentary on John Foster, and he wrote like songs for everybody, but he wrote that song, arranged it with her from Dolly Parton's, and she was talking through the third verse about just letting that person go. I love you enough to just let you go. But she wasn't singing it, she was just talking it. And then Whitney sang it, so it was like two different feels. So I kind of like wanted that type of honesty. Like, I don't need to arrest you for you to like be my wife or my, you know what I mean? Like, nah, be free. But still fuck with me though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm flawed. I be doing all kind of stupid shit. So why would I ever point the finger at you?
Yeah, I think that comes with growth too. Just in relationships, when you're younger, it just seems so controlling. It's like, this is my person and this is it. And as you get older, you're like, no, like if you wake up and choose me every day, fuck yeah, let's do it. But if you wake up and don't, then who am I to tell you have to stay here and you have to do these things? Like,
it's
no.
Insanity.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Don't get me started.
We could be here
Next
all day. But I do want to touch on that one. Your verse is a letter, and I'm so obsessed with people writing letters in their verses because I think there's so much beauty and power in that. Do you approach that differently when it's more of a letter verse?
I really just try to be rooted in what's real in that moment. I could have wrote to my daughters, to my mom, to my wife, to my kid, anything I could have wrote. But I can't explain that part of being an artist. It's like, that's what you write about right now. Like, dude's got a verse to his son on the album, and I'm like, yeah, talk to your son. Talk. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I love it.
What up? My name is Ian Kelly, representing that Jamla Records flag, also ODS, but as well today, my brother's Grand Nationxl. We getting it in.
Yes. Ian Kelly's back. How are you?
Feeling good, feeling great.
I'm so glad. I know that I'm biased, but I just feel like you had some standout verses on this album, so we have to talk about them.
I appreciate you.
Goodness. We got to start with Positive.
Took a test and prayed it didn't come back positive. I look around like I'm weighing out the positive. Hey, ain't that nigga that robbed you? Oh, you positive? I try to chill on the opposite of negative. If I prayed, would the cross make me more positive? I got a text about a baby, are you positive? This life is crazy, but I'm living versus kissing up daisies. And that confidence has me feeling positive. And that's a blessing, I'm politicking with angels. Like y'all ready, hands ready around these laps. I'm focused and very steady, I'm seeing the bigger picture. Even feeling when it's heavy, this that opposite of a broken levee. This that gun jam in a school shooting. This that safe catch when the baby's moving. No one snitching all in the first 48. This that shh, don't tell mama about that new broken plate. That's positive.
You really explored the different connotations and the different meanings and the different experiences with Positive. What was it like writing that one and kind of going through that idea of what positive can mean?
To be honest, like, I really fed off the energy of the room, which really helped me out. So I heard everybody, like, I think it was Kevin had said, like, the concept is like just positive, bro. Like, so then at that point I heard everybody's verses and I loved the way everybody came at it. I'm like, okay, how can I create something that's unique but positive? And I'm like, what's all these different ways positives connect? And I'm like, this is how I want to start it.
For your writing process for that one, what did that look like? How did those bars kind of flow?
First, I kind of thought about every contradiction of positive. So that made me think like, okay, what's that? Like, all right, if that's positive, that'd be negative, but we're going to say positive. You feel me? I just kind of kept on playing on that. And then a couple times you actually saw me go with positive as well. It's just a play on it. I just wanted to make sure that people kind of saw the different aspects and perspectives of it. I'm the type that I like people to see multiple perceptions of things. So that's the way I wrote my verse on that one.
We talked a little bit with other people as far as like naming the songs. At what point did that song get named?
So you'll have to be honest, I don't know. I came in here just like war ready, just ready to rap with my people. So like, you know, when the names and a lot of the stuff got created, I wasn't even around a lot of that process. But in the same breath, like, I know I'm with a bunch of creative people, so I trusted whatever they had and whatever they put together. I'm like, okay, whatever y'all title it and label it, I know it's going to work fine because what we're making feels organic.
Definitely. Anything else you want to tell the people about Positive?
My favorite bar in Positive, when I mentioned, you know, this is like a gun jam in a school shooting. You know, I feel like some people didn't catch that bar enough, you know, but I'm like, this is the type of positive wave I want to be on so much that, like, we're going to stop every type of negative that we don't want anymore.
Anything else you want to say about Positive?
Shout out Kale's Ian Kelly, because that was also a crazy session that he killed. He just totally came in there and it was a perfect final verse. And yeah, shouts out to Kale's.
He killed it. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button on whatever you're listening on. And if you haven't already, check out the other episodes for other tracks on the album. You can always reach out to me. I'm on Twitter @SpecialSays, and on Instagram it's @SpecialSays as well. As always, this episode is dedicated to Marlon. Do what you can to stop senseless acts of gun violence.